purpose is to cover the private parts. Cover the private parts. Protect oneself from the elements. And thirdly, for beauty. And there are conditions about the beauty. The Western system reverses it altogether. The first purpose of dress is to expose the private parts. Western dress, the first purpose is to expose the private parts. As it is said commonly in the West, if you have it, flaunt it. If you have it, flaunt it. That is the philosophy. So the whole way in which clothes are designed, etc., is to expose the private parts maximum, as much as the law will permit. That is the goal. And this is why you will find a woman wearing a miniskirt in the middle of winter, when it's 20 degrees below zero. What do you think is the purpose here? Secondly, it is beauty, to attract attention. This is the intent. Thirdly, it's the elements. So it's a different philosophy altogether. So now, when they design pants, no matter what style of pants they design it in such a way that when you walk, when you bend, when you sit, it's going to hug your private parts. So it will show it, it exposes it. That is the intent. It's attractive. So that man who wears these Western pants and then makes, in prayer, right, he goes into ruku' or he goes into sujood. And if you ever come into the masjid late and you see people in sujood or in ruku', you have to look away. You have to look away. Otherwise you are looking at haram. You're looking at people's private parts. So if a person wears pants, this is why in the Malay tradition here, and in Indian tradition, etc., the Muslims of the past, they developed tops which came down, down to their knee, so that when they're bending, sitting, these private areas are covered. This is the correct tradition. We look at it as traditional, maybe, the old tradition. No, it is the correct tradition. And Muslims really, the men should be as careful about it as the women. So we were always very quick to tell the women, yeah, you should be covered up with this, that, and then he comes out. No, we don't have a double standard here. In the same way that women have requirements in their dress, males also have requirements in their dress. And I say to the men, you want your woman to cover properly, then you need to cover properly too. Yes, it's on her, it's a sin before God if she doesn't cover herself properly, but it's on you also, a sin that you're not covering properly, and you are held responsible for your family.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm a new brother, and over the 2 years that I've been Muslim, living in Malaysia, I've seen a special part of Islam that I would consider witchcraft. I don't know if this is just Kampong people or what, but is it true that a Muslim can cast spells on something that would, as a form of revenge or something like that? And also, does an ustaz or an ustaza have the power to see the future until something has happened when the person does not know it, or be able to see the future about what is going to happen to this person? I've seen this.
Okay. First and foremost, this phenomena is not only here. You will find it in India, you will find it in Africa, you will find it, in different parts of the Muslim world. Unfortunately, many Muslims have sunken into exactly what you said, into witchcraft. which has no basis in Islam at all. It is forbidden, clearly forbidden in the Quran, and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ forbade it in no uncertain terms. We have, Prophet ﷺ has taught us different du'as to protect ourselves against these things. We have verses from the Quran which are revealed also to protect ourselves from these things. These are evil. The idea of casting spells and putting spells on other people, this is sinful. For you to go to a person who is practicing magic, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, to go to a person practicing magic is shirk. The one who is practicing magic, he said, is a kafir, a disbeliever. And as to being able to see the future, no one can see the future except Allah. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he was asked about the future, he said, I don't know any more than the one who's asking me. However, Allah has revealed to me some of its signs, that's all. And this is based on revelation. So anyone else who's going to come up and say, whether he calls himself ulama or whatever, that the future, this is going to happen in the future, he's a fortune teller. And the Prophet ﷺ said that the punishment for the fortune teller is death. This is how severe it is considered in Islam. Also in ancient Judaism too. The punishment for fortune telling is an evil, major sin. It is evil. And the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever goes to a fortune teller, out of curiosity, not even belief, out of curiosity, your prayers for 40 days and nights will not be accepted. That's how evil and severe it is. And if you go believing, you have fallen into disbelief. And please also know that this includes your signs. The signs of the zodiac, your Pisces or Gemini or whatever these things. This is fortune telling. If you go to the newspaper and you open it up looking to see what is the fortune teller telling you about Pisces today, that is going to the fortune teller. That's the modern day version of it. It is forbidden. Don't read it. This is part of shirk. So Islam is completely opposed to magic and any practices connected with it. Even the practices I've heard of people talking about fencing, where some kind of, ulama can come and they bang nails into the ground and put salt here and there or whatever, and it's supposed to protect your place from the jinn. This is all nonsense. It has no basis in Islam at all. We go back and we see, did the Prophet ﷺ do these things? No, he didn't do it. Did his companions do these things? No. So then where did this ulama get this knowledge from? Banging nails into the ground. Means they have knowledge which the Prophet ﷺ didn't have, or the Sahaba didn't have. This is evil. This is not from Islam at all. Please, brothers and sisters, beware of these things. Beware of it. There's a book which I did called The Exorcist Tradition in Islam. Those of you that are tested by this area about the jinn and things like this, you need to read it. It will give you the correct view according to Quran and Sunnah as to the relationship of the world, the jinn to ours, and things of possession and all these kind of things. It tackles all of these issues. Please get it, read it, clarify for yourself, and help others to come to the correct understanding. Is it wrong for a Muslim to choose to be a vegetarian because of cruelty to animals caused by modern farming and transportation methods? There's no harm if you decide you don't want to eat meat. There's no harm if you decide you don't want to eat meat, as long as you don't try to propagate to other people that they shouldn't eat meat. If you personally decide, I don't want to eat any more meat, it's like you deciding you want to fast regularly, every other day, for example. These are choices you can make in your life, all right? But for you to try to make it haram for other people, tell them, no, you shouldn't eat meat, no. This is where you now step beyond your bounds. You personally, if you want to give it up, that's your choice.